What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode, or a new episode of Move with Life. Andy here. Thanks for joining me. Obviously, you all will get on when you start seeing this. If you're here for the first time, thanks for tuning in. If you are a returning friend, colleague, or otherwise, welcome back. It is Friday, Friday, March 11th. I saw F, so I Freudian slip. We'll say it's that. Obviously, new space, definitely not new direction. Same direction, I'd say, but nonetheless, we're here. A lot's happened for me in the past week, and I wanted to talk about like me going to Starbucks and a bunch of other things. But I feel like I need to kind of unload this week first. Because then I'll kind of just keep my head right. So obviously this space, and I'm really, and just as I'm cutting short and cutting myself off, I felt like I could have vlogged, doing this, making this room or setting up this room so I can be able to podcast and do, hopefully get some of my friends and friends on here again. Trying to figure that out up here, and then eventually work on the logistics part of it. But nonetheless, the room has set up. It is a new temporary studio. We'll say. It's it's interesting because in 2017 I kind of started in my actual bedroom. And basically I did everything so that I manipulated and did everything so that I could fit the main space of the room so I can be able to podcast. And as it evolved and life changes, things change. Obviously, I had been podcasting for a little while via where I was before, and I had my flags everywhere and everything. I just have one up right now. But now it's I guess my point of this segment is just the matter of fact of this is how I ideally want it, and I need to get a wider lens, and it'll make sense why I need a wider lens. But space wise, it's like, okay, I can fit 2, maybe 3 people at most. 4 would be a tight fit, just because I have a TV that I need as a monitor, in case like comments pop up or if we start looking stuff up via. So I have the space to look up stuff, and then you can't see it on your screen, but I can see. I have a comment section that I can see if you all post any comments, and so. And I can even do this cool little thing here. It kind of just helps just move the show. And again, it makes me happy because it's like all these little things that I've learned by more watching, watching Joe Rogan and then all the other podcasts that I like. Rogan, Brendan Schaub, The Fight of the Kid, King of the Sting, Bobby Lee's podcast, what's it, Tiger Belly. And then the more informative ones, Tim Ferriss, Jocko, all these other guys, and it's all the same stuff I've been talking about. But my thing is now being able to coordinate, make changes such as this, have like a screen share, and I didn't think I was gonna be able to get quite there tonight, just because it took me. I've been on my feet for the past 3 days, so I traveled Monday and Tuesday, and then. Literally Wednesday, I hit the ground running, knowing that I wanted to do this space. Because then I thought about asking one of my mentors. He has an office, and I was like, man, I wonder if he would let me you borrow it. And it'd be after hours. Right now, it's 10 o'clock Central Time, and I'd be out of I'd be out of the way. I wouldn't I'm not gonna leave anything there, or leave any evidence behind that there's a podcast going on. You'd probably be like, what's a podcast? But anyways. But that was happening, and then I was like, I'll not do that. Let me do this real quick. Okay. I'll not do that. I'll see what I can do with this space, and if I feel there's enough room here, even for at least 2 people, then I'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. And it took me took me 2 solid days of like 8-hour days, and it was spaced over like 12 hours because I'd start in the morning, go through a big push. I'd take a lunch. I'd make myself actually take a lunch break because um my goal was just to continue until I couldn't anymore, but then find good stopping points in the process. And that's why, like, I feel like technically, 'cause I was thinking about Peter McKinnon. I was watching these videos. I was like, man, I could have vlogged it and it would have been cool, but the editing is what I didn't want to give time to. I didn't want to give time to editing, and even now, that's some of the reason me going live is just it helps me just be better about my presentation. Then we can go on about the story. Um, and even there's other things underlying things that are in my head, but the main thing is editing and vlogging. It's like, oh, okay, I know what it took to do that. I did that for a little bit, back in 2017. Most of those videos are hidden right now, but I want to bring them back eventually. Anyways, so Wednesday hit it. Thursday was probably my longer day, um, because then I had to start sorting other things so I can like move and figure out where things. I was starting to set things, or I guess reset where things were, and so did that. And today, finally, Friday, I got to spend the majority of the day was the final cleanup, really, as far as the floor and dirt and whatnot, and the walls and the ceiling. Um, but it was a final cleanup. Actually had a different table in here, um, but it was gonna need some work, and I wasn't gonna be able to hit it. I wasn't gonna hit it, get to it till till probably Sunday. And it's like, well, I need a podcast tonight. I'm like, I need to do this tonight. I already didn't do one Monday because I was traveling, and then I don't I the next possible like usual time I try to do is like on a Wednesday. But then same thing. I was like, I was Wednesday. I was literally like, this didn't exist. This space didn't exist, and so that, and here we are, and here we are Friday. The the week didn't fly by for me, but like it's already Friday. We're already here, and I'm glad I get to record this, do this, make this as we get ready for the weekend. A cold front's blowing in, and I don't think I don't think you'll be able to hear it through this microphone, but it blew in a little while ago, and so it's getting cold outside. We'll see how this room kind of holds up with that stuff, but yeah, it's Friday, Debrief Friday. It's kind of how I'm trying to navigate myself. And speaking about navigating myself, I think the previous 2 YouTube lives I did, they were in actually a hotel room, and so the Wi-Fi was spotty, and it using Ecamm. I like using Ecamm. It's actually made everything. It's helped me kind of streamline like my audio to then my video and everything else in between. But as far as internet connection, your internet connection has to be pretty decent. And being the hotel is very spotty, and um, spotty in the sense of it was there, it existed, and that's about all it did was exist. So um, if you did get to watch those episodes or are gonna watch those episodes, I tried to make my story, my content, as presentable as possible, knowing that there was possible delay and whatnot. Um, but yeah, uh, the reason why I brought up the hotel and whatnot is because so I had a comment, and I actually couldn't find it anymore, but I took a screenshot. So I'm like, I know it existed, but again, I think with Ecamm and the internet connection itself, being the biggest factor was this guy. His name is Jose Diaz. He was on. I mean, it was on because I was on there, but um, I didn't get to see the comment until after, like like we're talking almost 24 hours after. It was like the next day I was at Starbucks, and that was that. But he put, "What are your goals on your channel?" And it's a fair question because I feel like I'm starting again. The theme, the navigation is the same, but me doing lives, me not having my vlogs available for viewing, um, I um I feel like I'm back at a place where I'm at the beginning. Mentally, I feel like I'm stronger. The goals of my environment are better. Um, but I can imagine for a first time viewer who for someone who doesn't know me at all or personally or in any form or shape or form or fashion. It's like what's the point of this channel? And depending on how long he stuck around, he could have gotten a good glimpse. But if I had to answer that, what are your goals on your channel? So and it's funny that he mentioned goals because I don't even know if I got to get into goals versus like improving quality of the content, and I actually listened to a few podcast episodes, and I got really into the author of Atomic Habits. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. Speaking of, that's why I have this Atomic Habits. I'm trying to see what this. I'm trying to just see what the name is. Let me go to this quick. Uh, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I had been watching a few podcasts because I forgot what podcast was he even on. Um, it wasn't like Lewis Howe or Chase Jarvis. He was on podcast, and I have notes here. Here you go. ConvertKit. He was on ConvertKit, which I ended up watching then a Seth Godin um talk a keynote that he had at the same convention. Um, but James Clear, his whole thing is about building atomic habits and really getting away from goals versus systems. And so no, I didn't get to talk about this because this was post. I said at least I don't think I did because I didn't write anything about mentioning um, this on YouTube. Cause that was 6 to 6 was Sunday. So then I left Monday the 7th. So I definitely didn't talk about this yet. But so my goal is actually trying to change my goals to systems, and this includes actually my physical being too. So running, trying to get not trying to, but needing to get wanting to get to better shape. And it's okay, like goals are good, but the thing is, I know that they will come if my systems are in place. And listening to the podcast, and I actually have the book. I just haven't gotten around. It's in my queue as far as reading Atomic Habits. I just haven't read it yet. And again, a lot of times it's not because I don't have time. It's because because I'm procrastinating or I'm on another book. This week in particular, I was traveling and then getting this room set up to be able to record. And so my goal for this channel right now is to find a better system to provide better content. And what is better content to me? It involves business, leadership, sports, particularly baseball, F1. I might talk about the Spurs a little bit. It seems like they're reaching new a new better. I don't like that combination, but a new status quo as far as having high quality players. It seems like it. But also Twitter kind of everything's an algorithm nowadays, so that's probably why my Twitter feed just shows me a bunch of Spurs stuff. So that's the best way I can answer the question. To go back to what are your goals on this channel? I eventually want to have the previous vlog episodes available because I like doing this. I can't give you a better reason other than this scratches my own itch, and I want to do this. And I feel like one thing I do know is that getting my thoughts down into paper and then presenting them, there's like a relief I have, especially once I'm done. If I'm able to hit the hour, I there's a relief, and it's like, okay, I have a clear mind, and I kind of move on to the next thing. And I imagine there will be times, and there's already been times where I have repeated myself because I listen to there's a little community of people, my community of people. I'm saying of content that I listen to, and I've just started getting into Chris D'Elia, who's another comedian. Eric Griffin, I really like his podcast because I feel like me and him we're very similar in how, and obviously he has comedies is his foundation of his output. But watching his podcast recently, it's like, oh, like look, like there's some things that are we're just similar, and and I don't know him, he doesn't know me, but here we are, creating content and finding our space, in doing this. And There's Patreon. There's a bunch of other things that are possible for the future. For now, I feel like I just want to get better at doing this and bringing people back onto the podcast. And even then, if I'm able to get a few in these next few weeks, there will be another stretch where it's like I'm gonna have to refigure out how to be able to do this. Am I gonna be doing it live? Is it gonna be recorded? I even thought about taking out a seat in my truck. I'm like, man, what if I take out a seat in my truck and I can kind of like make it a space, to be able to record. But nonetheless, if I had to summarize that, that's the goal. The goal of the podcast is to create systems. New studio, create systems. Baseball is back. That's interesting. It took them. I guess it took them long enough. I think the season's probably still delayed though till like the 14th or something of April, which I don't think it's too much of a day. But I just know I heard about it. I haven't done it. I just wanted to mention because I'm looking forward to the baseball season. I'm trying to catch actually some like college baseball at least while I'm able. Tuesday was really weird because that was literally like the middle of my travel time, and I'm literally there, and I'm going the road, and I'm almost to the end of Admiral Richards' episode on Jocko podcast, and it just cuts off, and I was like, "What?" And eventually I ended up stopping at a rest area because I needed to. But in that, I was like checking. I was like, "It says your account does not exist." Blah blah blah. And for other things, I've gone to Twitter first and be like, "Why? Is there something going on in the world that that my X, Y, or Z is going on, or whatever?" And so I tried it. I tried to make a new password, and then I checked my account. And it didn't make sense. Then I finally went to Twitter, and apparently Spotify went down. And it's interesting because before reading Twitter and seeing that the actual system went down, which is actually a good thing, I was like, am I actually gonna have to? Because I ended up making an Apple Music account for a little, so I can listen to music. It's like I had just almost done with a 4-hour podcast, and it's like now it's cut off. It's like, oh my god, did I just lose my entire account that I've been building for the past 10 years is it 10 years? How long have I had Spotify? 2011, 2012, around there. Yeah, I mean close 10 years now as far as having a Spotify account. And it really made me think, and then as it made me think, and I almost like a panic instinct, I was like, huh? Because then I kind of caught myself, and I was like, man, Spotify really has, and I feel like Spotify really has an upper hand on a lot of people, at least the people that I know, and I prefer Spotify. Joe Rogan's on Spotify. It's like, what's going on? But it did, for that moment, it did make me realize, like, oh man, like I'm really depend, like, as far as music and podcasts now, I'm really dependent on Spotify, and it would suck if I had to recreate accounts and whatnot. Because even when I try to push the podcast, I still need to update all the episodes onto Spotify, which that's my goal. Now that everything's the dust is settled for me for now, and this is good. We're good. We're moving. So, my goal is to there's a goal that I have, is to upload all these episodes, all these new episodes, because I think I know I uploaded like this up to December, and I did one more that was like December 9th or something, and then so there's a few that I need to upload, so that we'll be up to date and it'll be caught up to what we're doing here. So yeah, Spotify died, and I was like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "What the heck?" And then apparently I wasn't the only one who was in a amygdala panic mode. It's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "What am I gonna do?" I don't know. Speaking of rest areas, I had gotten a text of saying, "Hey, you should get a hotel. We can split the bill." Blah blah blah. I said, "No, I gotta make. No way. I got a truck. That's why I got a truck, because I can make stacks. Is I want to make stacks, and the only way to make stacks is to sleep in your truck." I'm just kidding, not really, but it's like, no, like I definitely didn't want to spend the money, and because at this point of the conversation when I was talking, or when we were conversing, um, I was like, well, it's already like, I don't know. It was obviously it was already dark and it was late, so I knew I was gonna stop at a certain point, but um, I yeah, I stopped in my truck and it was fine. It was a little cold. It's okay. Like, the truck heats up. It's no big deal. It was interesting though because to tie in my trip on the road. A lot of nuance is not the right word. A lot of moments of memory, we can say. A lot of moments of memory because my dad being a truck driver for his whole life, so all my life, I got to travel with him a lot. Got to go to a bunch of states, a bunch of places, and see a bunch of things, and meet a bunch of not technically meet a bunch of people like, oh hi, how you doing, but just see the United States. And the people that filled to this day filled the United States. And so there's just many instances where I was like, oh, I remember being here, or oh, that truck stop doesn't exist anymore. There used to be a truck stop called Williams. I remember we always just stop in Eloy, Arizona, and that would be one of the main stops because based on the fuel of the truck and blah blah, you could make it from I don't know from where, but from X point to Eloy, and you can make it there. And I remember there's one time. I'd say this is part PTS because I just remember we were driving and the gas is going, no, diesel, not gas, the diesel is going, and you see the needle going, and at some point, I mean, I didn't have the grasp of mileage. Like I knew, obviously I knew what miles were, but I still couldn't completely tie in fuel to time to miles, right? And so freaking, like, let's say, I don't know, I'm trying to, you see the E, right? The E's right here, and you see the gas just going all the way down, down, and it sits here. It feels like forever, and it probably feels like forever because I was like 10, and I was like, oh my god, we're gonna run out of gas. And I told my dad, hey, what are we gonna do if we run out of gas? And he's like, oh, push. I'm like, I mean, I obviously even at that age, I'm like, I know that's not what happens, but I was like, what if we actually run out of gas? We kept going, and apparently had this plan this whole time, but I just remember being very, very young and uh, getting to Eloy. So, anyways, that's a longer story than I wanted to talk about, but that's just one of the ones that I remember because I stopped in Eloy on the way this way. I stopped in Eloy, Arizona, and I stopped there more for just cause I didn't have to. My next gas checkpoint was, so I've improved my knowledge and my thoughts as far as gas and miles and time go. But I stopped in Eloy just to stop in Eloy, because that's where we stopped. That's where we stopped at the Williams there, and I even have like a little Williams like diecast because I used to have a race car, NASCAR, and so I had the little diecast 18-wheeler of that truck stop. I should still have it. Technically it still exists. I just don't know where it might be at this very moment. So there's that. Trying to think if there's anything else. Damn. Well, I mean, I wrote Deming. I mean, I already told you that the Eloy stuff, the Eloy, Arizona gas story. Here's a good one. So So there was. I already told the gas story. I actually didn't tell the gas story that I wanted to tell, but can I tell you gas stories? I don't see why not. Um. So so the Eloy story was freaking like 20 years ago. It was forever ago. Literally, I don't even know who was driving for. I couldn't tell you what truck we were in, but I just remember just hauling down and freaking. It was evening time, and it's like, oh my god, when are we gonna stop? Like, we need gas. Anyways, fast forward to 2015, family road trip. Great time. It's like, there's 5 of us in this truck, and luckily it's not my truck right now because I have a more compact truck. We'll say. I think I've mentioned what kind of truck I have, but either way, if you don't, it doesn't matter. It's not really relevant right now. Um, So fast forward 2015. I just graduated college, and I now I do kind of I have to admit I kind of regret not stopping by the Grand Canyon that time, because we had the clear way. We literally could have, even if it was for an hour, but it was such a it would have been so out of the way. It would have been very delayed. It just it wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have made sense, and that's my consolation. Right now, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, maybe we could have, but no, it was dreadfully out of the way. We had already been like on the road for like 7 days, and it's like, okay, it's time to go home. It's time to go home. So we're driving. So we're on. I think it's on the now we're on the 40 because we're coming up. We went to visit family in Northern California. We're making our way down, and then I was like, oh, it would be nice to get a different scenic route. And I'm like, oh, Route 66. That's a thing. That's we can do Route 66. And so we're cruising, and we're on I-40, and there's little landmarks and stuff. I think it's I-40, but there's like different landmarks and whatnot of Route 66 and historical Route 66. Blah blah blah. I remember we stopped at a Chick-fil-A. We had a Chick-fil-A. It was great. It was very it was delicious, but it was unfilling. I can eat all the chicken nugget or all the little nuggets from freaking Chick-fil-A. And so we're driving, and eventually we finally get. We stopped at this like store thing at like a top of a mountain, and it was getting evening, and there's another moment where, and at least in my biased head right now, I recall seeing a store. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll need gas, but we can get it on the we can get it on the way. I think that was my way of my thought process at the time. And so, and that guy, and it was a small little town community, because I think we got like local candy. Like it was just a small like area, and it was getting cool and whatnot. But we were up in the mountains. It was beautiful. It was awesome. It was super. It was green pines everywhere. Um, well past well past the Grand Canyon area and all that stuff. So we're going. Now we're driving, and basically driving through the night. But then eventually, I think my dad, we probably had like a little bit less than half a tank, and so we kept going. As we kept going, there began to be less and less towns and structures, because even some of the towns, they were just ghost towns. Like, this is pre-COVID. I mean, this is 2015, so this is pre-COVID. There's this thing that didn't exist. And then as I kept looking at the map, and I'm like, and I'm like, man. So we started running out of just places, and then as finally it's dark, and we're like at again less than half a tank. Boy, I don't think we're quite to a quarter tank yet. And then it's like, oh wait, we need to put gas. And I was like, oh, okay, like, okay, cool. Like, I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, then it started losing signal on my phone, and like it's spotty because we're in the mountains, and we're like traversing through like just twines and intertwines and pines and mountains, and we're going up and down, and there's moments where we were going and then like you have to literally make a stop to go like 90 degrees. And we're doing this crazy thing, and I'm like, and we so then I start so finally like little stars start popping up. But then as we're passing these doors, I mean, they're single like idle stores, so they close at, let's say, 10 o'clock, and by now it's like 11 o'clock, whatever time. It's after closing time, whatever that may be for for those stores. Again, they're idle stores, and they're within the mountains, so they don't have to be open. They're not 24-hour service the way we're used to in the at ground level. As far as like cities and major interstates and whatnot. Because eventually, I know we had to cut from I-40. We had to cut down to. We were gonna hit Deming eventually, Deming, New Mexico. Because taking I-40 would take you then to, I think, to like Amarillo, and that's a 12-hour. I mean, it's a 12-hour spot. That's over 12 hours from north coming straight down. And so we're going, and same instant, it was same. I didn't think about it the same, but me talking about it now, it's the same. It's the same trauma as driving to Eloy, and and my mom was pissed off. And now it's hilarious because it's like, I mean, we already didn't go to the Grand Canyon. She really wanted to go. We already didn't go, and so we're running out of gas, and there's five of us in this vehicle, and we're going. And I remember we hit like three stores, and they were all closed. then I started looking at the miles and seeing like how like to Deming, and I think we made it to just outside Deming. Like we were just north of Deming, maybe like 20 minutes, and we finally see like lights. Like there's like light because again we're going up and down like these mountains, mountainous areas, um, or at least ranges. Um, ranges as far as that's the way it felt. We were just it just felt we were going in between and around the mountains. And at the sunset time, it was nice. But then obviously running out of gas is not nice, and then it being cold up in the mountains is not nice either because this is September, so it's not too cold, but it was cool up in those higher elevations. Nonetheless, saved by the light one more time, and we make it to this one store, and we fill up. Luckily, so the store was closed, but you could charge your card and pay for gas, and luckily they had that there. And so we put gas, and then me and my dad were talking, and we were kind of deeping about the whole thing. It's like, oh, never again. Like I-10, just stay normal, okay? No, don't take. And it's interesting because talk about it now, and if I were to preach, oh, we need to take risks more, that was a great risk that we took. And yes, it wasn't the best planned risk, but it makes for a decent story. And the memory's always gonna be with me, um, so I can just talk about it, as whenever moments like this pop up. Um, so yeah, we were there, and then because I remember me and him talking, he was like, "Oh man, he would like we were both like we both agreed like, oh, we would have made it to Deming. It would have been fine. We didn't know because again we didn't know how. I mean, we didn't. You can't really tell, especially because of the way the mountains were, that you can really tell exactly um, how long it was gonna take to get to Deming, via I-40 down to the 10. So that was that. But obviously we survived. We're here. I'm here. My parents are here. Everything's dandy. Everything's just dandy. So that's enough gas stories. Here's a nice story that I had. Here's an observation I had, and it was interesting because initially it pissed me off, and I was pissed off because like, bro, you can't just because I've seen it happen before where people just kind of park wherever they want. Like you can't fucking park there. You literally cannot park there. What are you doing? Um, I was behind this oversized load the other day, and it wasn't even oversized loads. They were actually in the right, whatever. But this truck in front of me, they were. I mean, to me, I want to say they were apparently lost because um, when they turned and they were just kind of like I'm like, you guys need to move out of the way. If you're lost GPS, you don't know how to use GPS, or where GPS is leading you the wrong way. Let it reload, let it reroute, recycle, and then you figure it out. It was so annoying. Anyways, that's enough for that rant. But a positive observation was I was getting Chinese food. This was Wednesday or Thursday. It was definitely during lunchtime. Today's Friday. Let's say it was Wednesday. Wednesday for lunch? No, because I had barbecue Wednesday. So it was Thursday then. So it was yesterday. And so I'm there in line. I'm just waiting. I'm in line. I'm chilling. I don't know what I'm listening to. I'm just there, but I'm just chilling. I see this little car like pull up to the fire lane, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, because I've seen it before, and it really annoys me. It's like, what, you can't just park there, even if it's for something quick, right? And so this guy's parks there, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like looking at this guy. I'm like, this guy's actually, he's actually gonna freaking park there. I can't. It's annoying. Fire lane, and it's like, God forbid something actually happened. But I was like, you can't park there. It was very infuriating. Dot 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 ellipse ellipse. I see him open the door, and I see I'm saying the old man, but it was an old man, and I was like, oh man, like this would make a great example of myself of not having patience or not seeing the whole picture. And I said, it would be a great story to bring here, because it's like I do try to work on those things, but there's a perfect example of a moment where I'm chilling and everything's fine. This person actually is doing just a nice deed. And I was like, man, that would be nice to bring to the podcast, because n- not always. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. I saw your comment pop up right now. Um, I'm gonna try to keep doing it. I appreciate you as far as live streams. I'm ready. I'd like to keep this going. I really enjoy it. Anywho, um, so this guy's helping this old man. I mean, old man. Like he's like 90. He's like 99.99 years old. Like he's on that. He's on that run. He's on that last stretch. But this other gentleman, he's helping old man Harp over here get into you. Yeah, he gets in the cricket. And you know what's interesting is like it's not the nicest thing, but I was like, how slow was he move? Was this man move? Because I never even saw him. Um, oh, I don't want to do that. No, that's pretty cool though. I know you could do that. Oh, that's pretty dope. Well, that's what I was saying. Thank you for as far as the comment. It says always a chill time, relaxing, watching live streams. I appreciate it because that's definitely so that this can tie into just watching this man help this older man. Help him. And I didn't see him at all, and that's because I was like I was literally sitting there, just listen to podcasts most likely or some music. Oh no, I was not listening to podcasts. I was on a Caitlin Butts. I was on a Caitlin Butts kick yesterday, and this would be a good segue. But anyways, that's what I was doing. I was listening to Caitlin Butts, and so I was just chilling, man, because this song called Blood Caitlin, but it's freaking legit. I don't know when exactly it came out. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But anyways, so this man's helping this older man, and I keep repeating myself because I never finished my actual story. But I was very upset for those 10 seconds until I realized what he was doing. I said, man, I wish I would have been observant enough to go help him, because I was probably there before this other man was, around. Excuse me. So I guess it came out around February 23rd. Yeah, the raw acoustic rendition. February 15th is when I'm seeing it. Let me try so you can see what I'm seeing. Anyways, a song called yeah, that's what I was listening to. And so yeah, I was like, man, like, and so that kind of because that was lunchtime, so I was getting lunch for me and my cousin, and then that kind of carried me through the evening, because I was like, hey, chill a little bit on the, and I've definitely felt on edge a little bit more like this week, like once I've been able to settle down, as far as travel goes, and even with doing like a little bit of manual labor, like I feel like I would be more decompressed by now, and I haven't. I've been a little more edgy, and that was a good example. Like that's a good example where I was like, and maybe it sounds simple to you. I don't know. I don't know how it sounds to you. I don't know you, right? And I'm trying to, I'm trying to, I'm trying to just be transparent to so that stories make sense, right? Man, I lost my train of thought because of freaking text. Um, being on edge. And there's been moments where I feel like I could have been on edge and actually wasn't. I surprised myself internally. I'm like, oh, like I could have definitely been mad right now, but I'm not, and it's good. I think it's good. We can discuss whatever A, B, and C, whatever it is, right? Um. So yeah. So yeah. But yeah, I did think like, man, like good on him for seeing this old man and helping him into the store, and hopefully Oma was able to solve whatever phone issues he had. Get his cricket back online so that he can, I don't know, call his buddies or something. Whatever he's doing at 109 and kicking. I hope to be 109 and kicking. I don't know if he's 109, but if he is, and if I get to be at that time, hopefully I can still bring stories and whatnot. Kim Butts. I first time I heard about her was via Flatline Cavalry, because her and Clado Cordero, I think is his name, singer for Flying Cavalry, main songwriter. Um, they are, I think they're now married. I hope I get that right. But nonetheless, I had already heard about her. There was a time me and Eddie and Gonzo went to Lubbock because Eddie won a contest, and there's a bunch of awesome people on that list. And because Eddie won the contest, he was going to be a part of it was a Dust Bowl. It was Dalton Domino's Dust Bowl that Dalton Domino didn't even go to. That's the kicker of that story. That's the first time I saw her, and I forgot who she duet. Like they wouldn't do it, but they were song swapping. I don't remember who she song swapped with, and I believe Clado song swapped with Randall King, and then I know I believe Sean McConnell had his own. He was able to get his own set, and it was awesome. But anyway, so I knew about her again because what's the song? The Flatland Cavalry song. It's the In a Life Where We Work Out. Such a great song. It's legit. I played that CD on repeat a lot. Coming back, we got to see Flatland Cavalry in Nashville in December 2017. Around that time, they happened to be at whatever venue was there, and so we watched them. And I bought both their CDs, and I played. I literally I chose to drive the overnight coming back from Nashville, and the guys went to sleep, and I put in that CD, and it just I just had to repeat it every 45 minutes, just repeating it. And I remember Eddie making a comment saying, "Hey, every time I woke up, that CD was playing, dude. I don't know. I was infatuated with that record. That record it's such a great record. Yeah, I still enjoy it to this day. But anyways, going back to Caitlin Butts, I had heard some of her stuff. I think she had been on what's that? Is it just Troubadour? I remember what that show used to be called, Troubadour or something Troubadour. Right? Songwriting Troubadour. I don't know. St. William's on there. Matt Caldwell's on there. Josh Grider's where I discovered Josh Grider. Anyways, I don't know if it was one of their YouTube things or whatever, but they recorded her singing one of her songs, and it was a very personal song. I don't even remember what song that was, but I remember it being very personal. Like, man, this is really good. I think I went to like her Spotify, and I wasn't quite sold yet. If I'm being honest, I really wasn't sold yet. Well, fast forward to now, and she has a song out called Blood, and I was like, and I don't even know why it popped up on my Discovery or my radar release, but it popped up on my Spotify, and I heard it, and I'm like, man, and I can't quite put a theme to what the song's actually about. I don't want to look up the lyrics. You should look it up. Blood by Caitlin Butts. Because then that led me into like some of her other songs. She has another song called Marfa Lights, and that one, it's like this. To me, it's like this dream, this fantasy that she has, and it's like the Marfa Lights. So anyway, so Thursday and half of today. I'm saying half in the sense of like I had it in the mix of songs, but yeah, that song Blood, Marfa Lights. There's a few of them on her Spotify now that I was like, man, like I add them to my jams. I have a songwriting playlist. I have like a jams playlist. I have a bunch of stuff that I like, and so yeah, I've been on a Caitlin Butts kick, and another one I do want to mention because I heard some of her stuff, and like in a few years from now I'll probably be coming back and saying the same thing as far as this girl. So Dawn Landis, I hope I pronounced that last name right. Dawn Landis. She has a song called "Why They Name Whiskey After Men," and I was eating at a Texas Roadhouse. This was a full week ago now. It's one of my last meals on the West Coast before I departed, and I was like, man, I could have I could have a burrito over there. I could have had like a bunch of other things that I could have had, and I'm like, I wanted a steak. I ended up getting a chicken fried steak, and it was delicious. I had never had a chicken fried steak from freaking Texas Roadhouse. But that day I wasn't feeling a ribeye, and I get a ribeye, and I'll get the 12 ounce. I used to get the 16, but that's a lot. It's a lot of food. Because I go all out whenever if I'm going to be going to a place, I'm going to go all out, and I'm going to be comfortable, and maybe I won't finish food, but I like leftovers. I talked about liking leftovers, so I like leftovers. And so I'm at this Roadhouse, and man, however they navigate their playlist for Roadhouse, because even the one I went to in Menifee, California, um, I like that one because it was away from where I was, and so you hear Kyle Park and Wade Bowen, and it was nice. And that, I think that's what I liked about it the most, was just knowing that there's a possibility of those songs coming out, and there wasn't too much country pop on there. Um, it felt good, and even if I was there for an hour, that's about what it takes me to kind of sit down. I take my time. I don't let the waitresses and waiters rush me. They bring my ticket, and I'll leave when I leave. I'm paying you for a service and for food. Um, and so so now I'm fast forward to that one where I got chicken fried steak and I get fried pickles and it's delicious, and I'm there chilling. And most of the songs that had been playing sequentially, I knew them, whether it was like John Party and like Justin Moore, like some of these ones, some of these other songs that I know. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm there humming, I'm vibing, and usually I have my AirPods on, and I didn't that day, and I'm just there scrolling and listening and eating my fried pickles, and then I hear the song. I'm like, and it took me a while because first thing that caught my attention was just the um like the style. It was real like Western. I can't remember if it was because right now I cannot remember the melody. But I wrote it down and I put it on my phone so I can talk about it, because I was like, I wanted to just, for what it's worth, I wanted to just shout it out on here because music is a big part of me. Even today, I got my guitar out for the first time in like 3 years, and that was nice. And my pedals still work, my guitar amps still work, which is nice too. So, anyways, so Don Landis has a song, "Why They Name Whiskey After Men." It's a great song. Another song you can look up yourself. Don't be lazy. And yeah, it was a great song, and I was like, man, this is a freaking good song. So I looked it up, and now I have it saved now. It's another one of my songwriting, we'll say, favorites. And so yeah, that was awesome. Anything else before we head out? We kind of got past that. The Batman. Me and my cousin went to go watch it. It's a great movie. I liked it. I never undersell anything about it. I don't like to hype things up too much. Um, I liked it more than I thought I was, and there's no spoilers. I'm not gonna go into it today. I'm not gonna go beyond just I enjoyed it, and I want to podcast. Hopefully, I'm trying to get Brian. I'm hoping. Trying and hoping. I haven't even told him yet, but I'm hoping to get Brian on here, and then my cousin, and have a three-person conversation, um, and debrief about the movie. So if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. I'm a very unbiased person when it comes to movies. I will give a movie a chance if the actors in it are people that I like previous material on, or if it's like something like this where they're doing their own thing. Um, for it, the Batman. Like I am a Batman fan, so I am gonna go watch the Batman, and I went to go watch it. It was a great time. Personally, okay, I'm gonna stop there because I'm gonna basically go into my opinion, my full opinion. I don't want to do that because I want to do it in the conversation with these two other people that have more knowledge on like the comments on like these other underlying things than I do. I just come in with the perspective of like, oh, they're making a new Batman. Let's watch it. Excuse me. I think that's it. I wrote down the the two main values that I feel like I've tried to make a part of me, and then the third one that I'm still a work in process is process improvements is number one. No poor quality of work. Like, you just figure out this, and it's funny because as far as my actual day job, my work goes, like I have developed systems that have worked for me so far, and it allows me to have a very high quality work, and so there's that. Um, and the newest one is be very good at the basics, and I feel like narrowing down even these values as we wrap up tonight, even as we wrap up, being very good at the basics. So like, scheduling, planning, understanding, or at least having a direction of what I'd like to bring to streaming. And so those are the three right now: process improvements, know poor quality, be very good at the basics. I don't quite know what I know what it means for me as far as being good at be very good at the basics. But when I tell people when I'm teaching, if I'm in a teaching situation, I try to remind said colleagues and people or students in that moment that hey, you have to be if you can be very good at the basics, it's going to help you just be great at all the advanced stuff. And so I preach it. I believe it. That's why I've written it down. So for now, it's still one of the ones that's like it's going through a test right now, right, man? So it's going through probation. That's where it's going through a probation period. That's the phrase and word I was looking for. Now, and finally to end it, because just tying up, Admiral Ridge was on a podcast. He was a Navy SEAL. I don't think there were many admirals up until when he made admiral. Served back in the day. He was awesome. It was great. It was like 4-hour podcast, and even listening to it like at time and a half, it's still like 3 hours and 45 minutes around there, 3:30, 3:45. So it was perfect for a road trip. But one thing that they tie up at the end, because what they say as far as like successful Navy SEALs and so I guess Jocko and Admiral Richards, because they're still involved in those worlds. Sometimes they'll have parents or whoever, and the students themselves as well. Once they get past SEAL training, basic SEAL training, they're like, "Oh, hey, sir, thank you for getting the best best of my son, blah blah." And then what Admiral Richards has said in response is like, actually, thank you. You raised this young man, this person, to be able to withstand some of the hardest training, if not the hardest training in the world as far as military goes. And so the phrase that they use is like, thank those who groomed you. And so that's what I like to end today's episode on, is find them or reach out to them, text them, call them, whoever, those that help groom you. You can thank them for, and again, hopefully hopefully it is more of a positive thanks than like, oh, thanks for showing me what not to do. But nonetheless, we're here, right? We're here. We can move. We can literally move forward. We can literally realize, and it takes different times for different types of things, and everybody has their own traumas. But I do believe, I think that's that is what is moving with life, anyways, is that we can move forward. And every time I say that, and it makes me think about the initial title of this podcast, which was "Swinging with Life," because at the time, and I changed it very quick, because if you type in "swinging," there people are like talking about swingers, and like, oh, that's not what this podcast is about. It has nothing to do with that. But at the time, I felt like I was swinging back and forth. I was literally, I felt like I was physically swinging with life. I would go up here and have this high, and then come down, and then go all the way up the other way and come down again. And I felt like I was just on this. I felt like I was on a pendulum. That's the best word I even came up with even then. Back in 2017. It's 5 years ago. And eventually I had to make a quick change. And I was like, moving with life. I was like, well, what is moving with life? And it's still a work in process, because as I think of the stories of my past and try to find some humor in those things too. First, thanking those who groomed you. I think about my grandparents a lot, because it's a trickle. It's a passing. It's a thing that you get passed on, the good and the bad, right? And with time, hopefully, we can alleviate the bad and then remember the good and harness that. So yeah, I'll leave it with that because, like I said, my grandparents and my parents, just the way things have gotten me to this point, definitely thankful. I maybe don't tell them enough, maybe, but I do tell them I love them, and that's the biggest part of the whole thing. So I'll leave you with that, just to leave it heavy, like I should and like I do. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here, bro. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I think I don't want to get your name wrong, bro. Next time, I need to know your first name. It says Alvarez, so Alvarez Jr. Maybe is it Vicente? Vincent? I can't remember. I don't hate me for it, but you gotta put your name so I can give you a proper shout out. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I hope I was able to bring you something. I was my little life updates, Debrief Friday, and yeah, andyacosta.blog. I've posted two blogs. I posted a February month blog, and then I posted a coffee shop thoughts blog. And these are all works in process, but nonetheless, I'm trying to get these thoughts and these things down into my from my brain down to paper, down to print, so that at the very least the documentation of me, which it's very individualistic, but it hasn't been done on an individual level, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. It is me and my observations and my documentation, but it's what you all literally, like, this guy who helped his old man into the cricket store. It's literally you all helping me try to be better, just a little bit better. And I have notes because, like, again, I had a whole road trip, so I have plenty of thoughts and notes that I want to continue on, but I didn't know how far I was able to get given what all has happened this week, right? So thanks for tuning in. I'm done. Take care of yourself, mentally and physically. Lead from the front. You have a team, you have a household, you have people that are looking to you for guidance. Be nice to one another. Have more patience than me. Don't be so fast to pull a trigger like me. I'm making this case because it's a real thing, and I bring it here because it's like it happens. It happens, and it's okay that it happened. But if we can realize it happened, then we move forward from there. So yeah, thanks for being here. Hope I'm again looking forward to doing a couple of podcast episodes next week, and once I hold on at 58:40. Okay, cool. Looking forward to next week. Trying to not tap the well, but then do a bunch of stuff at the same time. So thanks for joining. I hope you enjoy this episode. You all have a good one, and I'll see y'all very soon.
Crowd, lost and found, picking up on the speed of sound.